Call this regular meeting to council for May 24th, 2022 to order at 7:02 p.m. I'd like to acknowledge right now we are waiting for Councillor Valentino to come online. We have Councillor Fountain and Councillor McMurdo online at the moment. Everybody else is in chambers. Thank you. I'd like to recognize that we're on the traditional land of the Shwaysic Cree Nation, homeland of the Métis, and that we are all treaty people. Thank you. I'd like an approval of the agenda. Deputy Mayor Lundmark, Councillor Prue, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Community comments, feedback?
We just sit here.
Yeah, and sticker stamp, name, address.
Melanie Cutler, 232 Westwood Drive. On May 14th, I had the privilege of attending the Community Safety Wellbeing Plan presentation. I thought that presentation was very well done, considering the lack of people there. I think I was the only citizen in Thompson at that meeting without being part of a group or anything. So I thought it was really good. I'm really glad to hear Anthony comment that the budget is containing more money for beautification project. I think we need more of that, and it's nice to know that there's actually a plan that's moving forward. So I just wanted to give a comment on how well that presentation was.
Thank you. And that presentation is online if anybody else would like to read it over and make comments. Yeah, thank you. Anything else? Comments? Feedback? Any feedback? Second time? Anybody comments? Community feedback?
Ron, be consistent.
35 minutes. Comments? Community feedback? Saying nothing? Thank you very much. Appreciate the comments. Next, we'll go into adoption of minutes. 5.1, regular meeting of council for May 6, 2022. Resolution 2022-00093, moved by Deputy Mayor Lundmark, seconded by Councillor Ellsworth. Be it resolved that the minutes of the regular meeting of council held in Council Chamber, City Hall, Thompson, Manitoba, on Monday, May 9, 2022, be adopted as circulated. Administration. Council, any comments? Call to the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
There, just have a
just for the audience's information, Councillor Valentino has now joined us. Thank you. 5.2 is adoption of minutes for Committee of the Whole, May 16, 2022. Resolution 2022-094, moved by Councillor Prue, seconded by Deputy Mayor Lundmark. Be it resolved that the minutes of the Committee of the Whole meeting held in Council Chamber, City Hall, Thompson, Manitoba, on May 16, 2022, be adopted as circulated. Administration?
Nothing further.
Council, any comments? Call for the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Resolutions. 6.1 is a resolution to approve the 2022 General Municipal and School Board election remuneration. Resolution 2022-095, moved by Councillor Prue, seconded by Councillor Ellsworth. Whereas the City of Thompson must set the rate to be paid for election officials who assist the municipal and school board elections and by the election and by election in the City of Thompson. And whereas the senior election official, SEO, has reviewed the remunerations paid in the past elections to the City of Thompson and recommends that the rates be adjusted. Now therefore be it resolved that council approve the following remunerations to be paid to election officials, including interpreters who work on election day. The advance poll, senior poll officials, full day, $327.60. Senior poll official, partial day, $200. Senior poll clerk, full day, $286. Assistant poll clerk, partial day, $166.40. On the regular polls, senior poll official, including mobile poll, $327.60. Assistant poll clerk, including mobile poll, $286. Assistant clerk election day, $208. Standby for polling day, $36.40. Training, $26. Meals, $31.20. Other individuals as required hourly, example, the translator. And be it further resolved that the SEO monthly fee be increased to $182 and the election remuneration be increased to $5,980 and the by-election remuneration is increased to $4,680. And be it further resolved that council approves the addition of an assistant clerk to the SEO at a rate of $26 per hour with approximately 130 hours at a cost not to exceed $3,380. Over to administration.
And so the senior elections official approached council with a recommendation that the rates for all the election officials be increased by 4%. What they represented as a 1% per year inflationary cost increase. So that's a request that has come before council. It was presented at committee of the whole, was recommended to be brought forward as resolution this night for council to consider.
Thank you. Councillor Prue, any comments?
Yeah, as we know, inflation's gone up much more than 1%, so I think this is a reasonable ask.
Any other councillors? Seeing that? Oh, Councillor or Colbert?
No.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I guess my only question is, with the increased rates, are we within the budget that we've set up?
Yeah, I believe that our chief financial officers run the numbers, and it's still within the budget that council has put aside for the elections. And remembering also that council pays for 50% and the school district administrator pays for the other 50% of the election.
Any other further questions? Seeing none, call for the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Carried. .2 is a resolution to approve the amended senior elections official agreement. Resolution 2022096, moved by Councillor Wong, second by Councillor Ellsworth. Be it resolved that council approve the amended senior elections official agreement. Okay.
This is really a housekeeping item because you just approved the resolution to increase the pay for the senior election official. We have to amend her agreement to actually increase that pay. So there's an amendment there on the pay. There's an amendment on reporting on travel and expenses to council.
Thank you. Councillor Wong.
Nothing further, thank you.
Rest of council, any comments?
Yes, I do.
Okay, Councillor.
Thank you. Just a little curious. I was under the impression that Ms. Howlett was looking for a way out of this position. Is that I realize we're dealing with the agreement, but is that still with Ms. Howlett?
Yeah, Mrs. Howard is still the senior election official, and I've had no word as to her wanting to leave that position.
Okay, thank you.
Any questions? Call for the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 .3 is a resolution to declare Thompson Relay for Life a special event in the city of Thompson. Resolution 2022-097 moved by Councillor Wong, second by Councillor Pearl. Whereas the organizing committee for Relay for Life is planning the annual Relay for Life on June the 11th, 2022, and will take place in the Thompson Regional Community Center. And whereas the organizing committee for Relay for Life has requested that Relay for Life is declared a special event in the city of Thompson. Now therefore be it resolved that council declares Relay for Life a special event in the city of Thompson. Administration.
Yeah, this is a request that was reviewed at the committee of the whole and recommended forward for council for approval or consideration this evening. This is an organization that has requested this in the past and been granted this, and the organization has followed all council's rules and policy, and therefore it's recommended that it be approved.
Thank you. So Wong, comments?
I don't have anything to add to this waiving, but I'd like to make a request to all the elected officials to form a team for that night, if it's possible. Last time at least. That's the request.
Okay. I am at PDAC that week, but I think it's a great idea for the city.
We let the deputy handle this thing. There we go.
Okay. Okay, call for the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Anybody had any? Okay, carried. Councillor Wong, we're looking for great things from you.
Sorry?
I said, Councillor Wong, we're looking for great things from you. 6.4 is a resolution to approve the waiving of the fees for the annual Thompson Relay Float. Resolution 2022-098, moved by Deputy Mayor Lundmark, seconded by Councillor Prue. Whereas the organizing committee for Relay of Life has requested that the city of Thompson waive the Thompson Regional Community Center fees, C.A. Nesbitt Gordon Beer facility rental, and set up fees for Relay for Life on June 11, 2022. And whereas council reviewed the request at the committee of the whole meeting and deemed it to be in the best interest of the community and are in agreement that the fees will be waived. Now therefore be it resolved that council waive the TRCC C.A. Nesbitt Gordon Beer facility rental and set up fees for Relay for Life at a cost not to exceed $3,349.90. Administration.
So this is basically a housekeeping item following up from the last resolution that was passed. So this is just to waive the actual dollar amount as council has just approved per the previous resolution.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Lundmark, any comment?
Just a great event and glad we're doing this.
Thank you. Any other councillor comments? Seeing none, call for the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Carried. Thank you. .5 is a resolution to approve the waiving of the fees for. Oh, I'm sorry. That. Okay. 6.5 is a resolution to approve instructor level sponsorship for the 2022 Manitoba Mine Rescue Competition. Anthony?
Oh, you still have the resolution.
Oh, I busted me when I had got that on. I apologize. Resolution 2022-099, moved by Councillor Ellsworth, seconded by Deputy Mayor Lundmark. Whereas council received a request for sponsorship for the 2022 Manitoba Mine Rescue Competition being held on May 27, 28, 2022 in Thompson, Manitoba. And whereas the mining industry contributes greatly to the local economy and stability of our community, now therefore be it resolved that the city manager be authorized to purchase instructor sponsorship in the amount not to exceed $1,000.
This advertising request was received by City Council. It was brought forward at the last Committee of the Whole. The Committee of the Whole recommended that it be brought forward to Council for approval for sponsorship at the said level up to $1,000.
Thank you. Councillor Ellsworth?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This event, again, not unlike some of the other events that we have. It's well attended. There's a lot of people, as the whereas in your resolution states. It's great for the community. A lot of hotel rooms there and food. Also, the most important thing, it really owns the skills of the people that's involved. And I know I've attended many of those, I've spoken at many of those, and I'm glad that as a city we're going to sponsor it. So thank you, or hopefully.
Thank you. Any other council comments? Councilor McMurdo.
Yeah, thanks, Mayor Smook. Just echo those comments from Councilor Ellsworth and say just wanted to reiterate that, yeah, we do have some really talented locals that participate in the petition, and just good luck to everybody, and do it safely. Thanks.
Thank you. Any other councilor? Okay. This also gives us a chance for many out-of-town people come here and showcase our city, and so definitely thank you that we have agreed to sponsor. Let's call for the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
We lose Councillor Fountain. Okay. Councillor Fountain, we have passed it. Councillor Fountain has disappeared from our TV. I was on a Zoom call today where I disappeared 4 times off. 6.6 is a resolution for AMM to lobby provincial government in regards to streamlining mining and mineral development processes in the province. Resolution 2022-100, moved by Deputy Mayor Lundmark, seconded by Councillor Ellsworth. Whereas mineral exploration and development supports many municipal economies directly and indirectly, as well as contributes to the overall economic health of the province. And whereas regulatory burdens and complications in multiple levels and departments in government have created a situation where Manitoba is no longer viewed as an attractive jurisdiction for mining investment, costing our economy lost jobs and economic prosperity. Now, therefore, be it resolved that AMM lobby the province of Manitoba to overhaul and streamline the systems for permitting mining and mineral exploration and development. Anthony?
Yes, so each year, council has to pass resolutions to request AMM to lobby on behalf of the province, or to the province on topics that are of interest to council. Council has provided the administration with a number of resolutions to brought forward. This is the first one pertaining to streamlining mineral development processes within the province.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. Look forward to just going through the AMM. I don't know if you help us, but I know that some of our fellow northern communities would definitely be happy to see this on the table too for Flin and Snow Lake. Others down south of the Cent. And I know that this current government said that they're going to reduce red tape, and it doesn't sound like it in this case. So that look forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Ellsworth?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I wonder sometimes if we really understand the criticalness of this resolution. I believe if we do it as we've done at AMM and FCM before, we work with really the troops. It's probably easier to start a brand new city in the province of Manitoba than it is to get a license to vote and start looking at finding mineral. The red tape is unbelievable, and this resolution is absolutely, as I said, critical because there's a lot of companies, junior companies, that's being turned away. They say, okay, it's taking too long. Some of them are funded, and they have to move on the money, so they go to another province, to another country, and that's where we lose out as Manitobans. So for those of us that's going to the FCM, I think this is a very important resolution, and I think that we should all be speaking up. So thank you.
Thank you. Any other councillors wish to speak? Okay, seeing none, call for the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Point 7 is a resolution for AMM to lobby provincial government in regards to reviewing regulatory requirements and best practices for operating recreational ice plants. Resolution 2022-101, moved by Councillor Colburn, seconded by Deputy Mayor Lundmark. Whereas arenas, rinks, and indoor ice services are often the main recreational facilities for municipalities around the province in the winter months. And whereas regulations governing the operations of ice plants have been tightened across Canada in response to the tragedy at an arena in Fernie, BC. And whereas municipalities, recreation boards, and recreation complexes are struggling to maintain sufficient certified staff to keep arenas open due to power engineering certification requirements, resulting in facility closures and lack of access to recreation. Now therefore be it resolved that AMM lobby the province of Manitoba to establish a committee to review the best practices and options for reducing the burden on municipalities and recreation boards throughout policies or legislation governing recreational ice plants, while still maintaining the highest level of safety for recreation purposes. Administration.
So as noted, Manitoba has over the years increased their training levels that are required to keep ice plants operating and treats recreational ice plants that are often small, no different than large industrial ice or chilling sort of plants. So the request here is not to reduce the level of safety, but to set up a committee to find a way to work with municipalities so that they can keep their recreation facilities open longer hours, as it's very difficult to maintain staff. So not that it has any answers, it's asking the province to look into ways to allow municipalities to keep those open in a safe way for longer hours.
Thank you. I'd like to mention that Councillor Fountain has rejoined us. Thank you. We'll go to Councillor Colburn as the mover of this. Any other council members? Comments? Seeing none, call for the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
.8 is a resolution for AMM to lobby the provincial government in regards to establishing a permanent annual fire protection grant program. Resolution 2022-102, moved by Deputy Mayor Lundmark, seconded by Councillor Prue. Whereas in 2020, the province of Manitoba created a one-time fire protection grant to support the protection and emergency response across the province. And whereas the fire protection grant was open to all municipalities and Northern Affairs communities and supported projects and activities that improved the protection and emergency response in those communities or mutual aid districts. And whereas the fire protection grant was oversubscribed and deemed to be a very popular and needed program across the province in support of our many volunteer and professional firefighters. Now therefore be it resolved that AMM lobby the province of Manitoba to establish a permanent annual fire protection grant program. Administration?
Yes, as is noted in the resolution, this was a very popular program. The city of Thompson benefited from it with 2 grant applications, one for ventilation, the others for thermal cameras. It was a one-time grant only, but what we saw across the province of Manitoba is that it was very popular, as a lot of places have volunteer firefighters as well. Firefighting is one area that rarely has grants, along with most emergency services. So the request here would be to lobby the province to establish a permanent grant in this area to support these emergency responders.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Lundmark?
Yeah, I wish that this had more to do with wildfire protection as well, but I'm glad that this is here and hoping that they can track going forward. So I'm glad that we're lobbying for that on a more permanent basis.
Thank you. Councillor Fountain?
Yeah, just actually had similar concerns to Deputy Mayor. Can you confirm, in fact, that wildfire won't apply in this for this grant?
I can't confirm that it applies or not. That's something that we can speak to AMM about. It's more generic, asking for a regular grant to be set up.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Osborne.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. It's sometimes it's sad when we've got to be applying for grants when this government has not given us an increase in our rates to the city since 2016. These grants are critical again to the city, that we're able to buy necessary equipment. But right now, when we look at how inflation has grown, and yet we haven't moved from 2016 rates, hopefully we'll be successful in our lobbying to get these type of grants so that we can continue to provide the services for the resident of Thompson that we should be able to provide with the equipment that's necessary. So thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other comments? Seeing none, call for the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Carried. Thank you. (6.9) A resolution for AMM to lobby the provincial government in regards to increasing the availability of public fire paramedic training programs across the province. Resolution 2022-103, moved by Councillor Ellsworth, seconded by Deputy Mayor Lindmark. Whereas Manitoba is experiencing a shortage of dual trained professional firefighter paramedics, and where there are limited seats in the province of Manitoba to train for both services at once through the public fire paramedic program. And whereas the lack of sufficient qualified individuals trained in both services places, Manitobans at risk undermines the ability of municipalities to provide mandated services. Now therefore be it resolved that AMM lobby the province of Manitoba to boost annual enrollment in public fire paramedic program. Be it further resolved that AMM lobby the province of Manitoba to explore establishing a second public fire paramedic program to support developing northern and rural fire paramedics closer to their home communities.
So this is a annual problem that seems to be getting worse across the province. The program is limited in how many people that it can train out of Brandon. And it's a continual situation where the city of Thompson, the city of Winnipeg, and cities of Brandon are constantly looking for new firefighters to fill their ranks. And sometimes some municipalities can be facing up to 50% turnover in these trained individuals. So the request here is to increase the number of trained seats for training to provide those trained professionals so that they can support the communities and their public safety.
Yes, again, another resolution that is critical to us. We know the turnover that we have as a city to start off with. And when you don't have a program in place to train like you need to train, that puts us in a danger. So I'm open again that we can lobby in it and certainly get something done in this area. Thank you.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Lindmark.
Because Councillor Ellsworth said really hope that, I'm not sure anyone's going to help us on that, bringing it up north, but I really hope that it could happen. Just or it's here to train our people, because it seems that the more we train our local, even northerners, right? Anybody in the north that could stay up. It seems like a lot of our staff that we have come in, we have to go home, right? For a lot of our firefighter paramedics disappeared in Brandon. Big after the first year of super a lot of experience, and it's great if we could get something in the market.
Thank you. Councilor McMurdo.
Yeah, thanks, Mayor Smook. Just in respect to Thompson, with our large complement and high turnover, I think this is a good resolution, as all of them are so far tonight. And I think it'd be great if our local young people didn't have to go as far away as Alberta and to possibly never return to come and work where they have family and roots to receive this kind of training. So yeah, definitely supporting this tonight. Thanks.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Yeah, Madam Mayor.
Sorry, Councilor Calvin.
Yeah, sorry, I may have missed it, but was there any conversation about continuing to work towards providing coursework in Thompson?
That's a effort. This is a lobby effort for the whole province. through the AMM, but there are still continued discussions separately with the province on that.
Does that answer your question?
Will the AMM not assist in regional issues as well?
Like I said, that's a separate lobby effort that we have ongoing. But this is one to get increased enrollment across the province.
Thank you.
Call for the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Resolution for AMM to lobby the provincial government in regards to establishing an airport rescue and firefighting training program in the province of Manitoba. Resolution 2022-104, moved by Councillor Prue, seconded by Councillor Ellsworth. Whereas airports play a critical role in the lives of Manitobans and in supporting the growth of our economy. And whereas emergency response to airports require specialized aircraft rescue and firefighting training. And whereas local ARFF training accessible to municipalities does not exist in the province of Manitoba, requiring municipalities to send firefighters to other Canadian or USA jurisdictions at a great expense to obtain training and certification. Now therefore be it resolved that AMM lobby the province of Manitoba, the Office of the Fire Commissioner, to support establishment of an annual rescue and firefighting training program in the province, open to all municipalities. Administration.
So many municipalities across the province have airports and rely on airports, especially places that have winter roads or other places that are hub communities like ourselves. The city of Winnipeg, as far as we know, has their own internal ARFF training program, but the rest of the municipalities have to send their firefighters for training out of province, often to Alberta, to Ontario, or down into the United States at great expense. The request here would be that the AMM lobby the province and the OFC to set up a program, whether it's hosted by them or if it's brought in every year, to allow municipalities around the province to send their people somewhere closer to home for training, so that they're able to respond appropriately to these, the risk at airports.
Thank you. Councillor Prue.
Yeah, not only is this a major safety concern or an inconvenience, but we're also missing out on potential employment in the province and for trainings and for establishments to train for airports.
Thank you. Other comments? Councillor Ellsworth.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I guess I'm going to start off with asking the city manager through the chair a question. How many of our current firefighters downstairs is qualified to go to the airport in the event of a fire?
I don't believe any of our firefighters are ARFF trained.
So if I can continue, to me, it's unbelievable that we would be responsible for airport, not knowing in many cases what's coming in, chemicals that's coming in, could even be explosives coming in. We don't know that. So we're putting our people at risk responding because the government says that they won't put a program at the airport. And I wonder under section 43 and 1 of the Workplace Safety and Health Act, if they couldn't all refuse to work there because they're endangering themselves. So I had the same concern years ago when long before I came on council, we were asking the city to respond to places like the refinery in Smelter at Valley, which is full of gases and chemicals and everything else. I think that we really need to lobby hard, not just now, but we should be meeting with ministers as a city to discuss this. I'm quite concerned that our firefighters has got to respond to the airport. And you know what? Maybe they haven't responded too often. It only takes one event. And then there's casualties because they don't know. It's what you don't know that's scary for you. And I was a firefighter at Valet for years and a rescue guy. And I'll tell you, the knowing of what you're about to encounter or could encounter could be the matter of your life or somebody else's. So if anyone thinks these resolutions is not important, they are very, very important. And this is one that I will love to get a chance to get on the floor and challenge somebody. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments from councilors? Oh, Councilor Fountain.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm wondering if it's possible to amend these resolutions slightly.
What would you like, sir?
I'd also like to include hazardous materials response. I believe that the incident in Ponton definitely shows that we have a need for that, especially in the north.
Anthony?
That would be council's decision. I would just caution that that would water down the intent of this particular. It's council's will.
I don't see that actually, if I can follow up. I've responded to a number of incidents at the airport in my previous role with the province, and most airport rescue and firefighting issues or events are at the same time hazardous material responses. So I don't agree, but I certainly see the need for that.
Thank you. Councilor Ellsworth.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Councilor Fountain certainly brings a very important point. And I understand what the city manager as well was talking about. It's almost like you could put it together as one resolution, but you could take the focus up. But again, they're responding even when there's a train, they're responding, they don't know what's in the cars. It's not much different than what's in an airplane. It really isn't. So I would certainly, if Councilor Fountain is willing to put forward that for amendment, I will second that amendment because I think it's crucial as well.
Are you making an amendment, Councilor? Make a motion to amend?
Yeah, that's my intent, is a friendly amendment to include the term hazardous materials response in 6.10.
Second by Councilor Ellsworth.
Any clarification where that's going? It's a full resolution, right? And your Councilor Wong has.
Yeah.
I'd like to speak before we do the amendment. It's okay, Mayor. I think what I hear clearly from.
I don't think you can speak to it right now.
That's what I was going to say. That's why I thought we had to have the motion first, right? We have to have the motion to the friendly amendment.
Point of order, Madam Mayor, I believe you would have to kill the motion to amend, to go back to the main one to debate again. Am I right?
So we need the motion to amend, which is what's for. There's mover to seconder. The problem is it's not clear where that amendment is going in this resolution. So you have to clarify exactly where those words are going. You have your mover and your seconder, and you vote on that. Then you can go back to the debate. So exactly where, we just need to know from Councilor Fountain, or exactly where that term is going in this resolution.
The wording I would put forward would be establishing an airport rescue and hazardous materials response firefighting training program.
So, and whereas emergency response to airports requires specialized aircraft rescue and firefighting ARFF training. And then you're saying there and hazardous
materials response training.
And hazardous material response training. So that's the motion to amend.
Okay.
Yes.
So
You had a mover and a seconder. Now you'd have to call the question on that.
call for the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Thank you, Wes carried. Now we can go to comments. Councilor Wong.
Well, actually, I was just trying to say that if I hear the city manager right, he tried to make it a more stronger without additional. So I was trying to suggest to make another, maybe not this meeting, but next council meeting to put another resolution to the AFM just to lobby for that one particular item. That way, I believe it will be way stronger. But now we already agree with the amendment, so it's just forget about when I try to establish. Anyway, thank you.
Councillor McMurdo?
Yeah, thanks, Mayor Smook. As Councillor Wong said, my point is kind of moot too, but I was just going to say that we're not necessarily certain that this training isn't kind of already entailed in that response training, or at least I'm not. Perhaps the other councillors are more informed as to what that specific training involves. Thanks.
Thank you. Any other comments, councillors? So, as amended, resolution 2022-104, almost, I think first I'd like to speak a bit. I do see about the hazardous chemicals, because when there is a response, there's quite often hazardous chemicals, even if it's only the airplane jet fuel in that. I feel this is a very important resolution in period, even at the start, as being the second busiest airport in Manitoba. And I think it's very important. It's not just, this just doesn't affect the North with response. We have passengers from all over the province, the country, and the world that are on those flights that come to Thompson. So this is why I definitely think this is a very peaceful resolution. So with that, we'll call for the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. I am just going to leave this separate for you, Tammy, so you can add the exact words. Next, we're going to move into bylaws. Bylaw 7 is the first reading of bylaw 2026-2022, levy bylaw. Resolution 2022-105, moved by Deputy Mayor Lundmark, second by Councillor Prue. Be it resolved that the 2026-2022 being the levy bylaw of the City of Thompson for the year 2022 be introduced and read a first time. City Manager?
Our CFO.
Pardon?
We'll go to our CFO.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Sure. So the public hearing has been set for June 9th to review the presentation of the financial plan. 2021 changes for the City of Thompson. There's no change to the mill rate. It's the same as 2020. There's a slight change to SDML of 0.088. So total increase to residential properties of 0.088 or 0.19%. Commercial see a slight decrease in the provincial ESL of 0.096. SDML again is 0.088 increase. City of Thompson, the mill rate remains the same as 2020. So the commercial will see a total decrease of 0.008 dollars.
Landmark, Ms. Rupert, do you have any comments?
Oh, a few times, and just to comment on review on all the different mill rates for each one of the separate debentures we have, right?
Okay, thank you. Any other council comments? Council Wong?
I'm not going to spend too much time to debate for the first reading. It's just a formality. So we'll ask for the call vote. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments? Councilor Colbert?
As normal, I won't be supporting this against any tax increase right now in the city. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other further comments? Seeing none, in a recorded vote as we on. Those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Deputy Mayor Lundmark, Councillor Prue, opposed. Councillor Lundmark, Councillor Fountain, not Councillor Lundmark, Councillor Wong, sorry, Councillor Fountain, Councillor Ellsworth, Councillor Pope.
Okay.
It was carried. Seven point two is the third reading of bylaw 2001 2020 water and wastewater rates bylaw 2020 to 2021 Public Utilities Board Order number 49-. Resolution 2022-106, moved by Deputy Mayor Lundmark, seconded by Councillor Crew. Be it resolved that bylaw 2001-2020, being a bylaw of the City of Thompson in the province of Manitoba, to establish water and wastewater rates within the city municipality, be given the third and final reading, and then it do not pass. Administration. Okay.
Sure. So the City of Thompson submitted a rate application to the PUB in November of 2020. PUB has now given approval of that rate application via order number 40/22. So the changes that are submitted in that rate application, the water rate has gone from $3.42 per cubic meter to $3.81. The wastewater has gone from $1.51 per cubic meter to $1.79. So total fee per cubic meter of $5.60. The support for service charge has decreased slightly from $23.74 to $22.60. Therefore, the minimum service charge for a lot 1 meter, which is a residential meter, has gone from $92.76 to $100.60. That includes 14 meters per bill.
Thank you. Mayor Lundmark.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. We know how important these public utility board rates are. We waited for over a year to get these passed. We made this request was it back in November of 2020. It's been a while. We know we need these changes. It's not all of us, but the fact is that the utility is supposed to pay for itself. And if we don't make these increases, including with our ISEP grant that we're dealing with right now, we'll wind up having to charge it in some other way. Tax or other levy. So these increases are agreed to by the Public Utility Board and passed by them. We're listening to it now. Support this. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Councilor Ellsworth.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Some degree, the Deputy Mayor is right. It has to balance itself. It's legal. Here's my concern. We've got income coming in, we've got expenses going out. Maybe before we start applying for pub rates and start looking at raising rates, we should be looking at what can we do better. I want to tell you something, and you all know it in this chamber and in this city, people are struggling. They're struggling bad. At $20 to me might not mean much. But downtown with a single parent with a couple of children in a house that's barely making it now, it's a lot of money. And it's huge. When I drive around, which I did today, and I do often in this city, and I see a lot of water just flowing around all over the place, I say to myself, can we be more efficient as a city? What's the issue? Do we have enough people working? Do we have enough equipment? Why is this happening? I passed one today. I think it's been running for months, I've been told. I have a very difficult time understanding that we have to balance it and trying to support something which I know that we can be better at. When I think of the issue with the wastewater treatment plant, the citizens of Thompson, they at the end of the day is paying for a $36.9 million facility shared by 3 levels of government. It is not their job to staff them, to make sure they're qualified, to make sure it's run properly. That's not whose job it is. But apparently, they will pay for that dearly. And that's why I am not going to support it, because I can't do it in good conscience, knowingly for the record that we have to balance it. But the reason I can't support it is I know what I know, and I cannot know what I know. So I'm having a very difficult time with it because it's almost like counter and productive. And I'm struggling big time in this city, knowing that people are suffering with inflation, everything else that's going on big time. And there we are, continue to up the rates and whatever, even though as I'll sum it up. As Deputy Mayor Lundmark said, you have to balance it. I know that. But because of the reasons I've spoken, in good conscience, I can't support it. Thank you.
Councillor Fountain?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm just checking to make sure I'm not muted. Okay, thank you, Madam Mayor. Yeah, I fully agree with Councillor Ellsworth's comments. It's understood that we do need to cover the costs of the utility, and this is the way to do it. What I'm seeing, if my calculations are correct, you know, they are small numbers. We're going from $3.42 to $3.81 for water per cubic meter, and our sewer rate is going from $1.51 to $1.79. Those don't seem like large increases, but if you do that in terms of percentage, you're looking at just under 20%. You're also looking at your minimum quarterly at about 8%. Those are huge numbers. Year over year, if we did this to the taxpayer, I don't know how anyone could survive in this community working on, you know, a service industry wage or something like that. I can't in good conscience support that level of increase on the taxpayer, given the burdens we've already levied on them, and knowing also what I know. And I'd also like to call for a recorded vote, please. Oh, it is. Sorry.
Thank you. Any other Councillor Crowe?
Yeah, I also struggle with the, as Councillor Ellsworth said, the inefficiency there to help mitigate the cost. But it does, the other part is it needs to be balanced or else we'll just get taxed another way. So I will support it, but it's tough to support.
Thank you. Councillor Wong?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I've got a few questions to you, Madam Mayor. Based on the report from the administration a while ago, it's about 45% of the water is down to the ground and wasted without charging. So what have we done for the waste of 45% of the total amount as to mitigate that waste?
Yeah, so council, over the last number of years, part of the reason for the rates is the replacement of the water mains around the community. So that's one area of the wastage. And that's why council directed the administration to apply for the ISIP grants, which we were successful for. So that's the purpose of those $48 million of grants, is to replace those water lines so that the number of breaks and wasted water goes down. So to stop the problem, we have to fix those pipes. And that's the purpose of some of the rates that are covered under the PUB order, is to pay for that upgrade to stop the wastage.
Fair enough, Madam Mayor. I would like to continue. But from what I gathered information from around town with some people that live here more than 40 years, I asked them about before we having a meter, the water break compared to now, are they same or worse or better or what? They say pretty much the same. So my point is, we spent all this money, we try to mitigate all this water break. Seems like it's not helping, it's the same anyway. And I got that explanation about the ISEP program. But the main concern to me is like what Councillor Ellsworth touched on earlier. We had the water running for sometimes it's like a month or 2 months. And we don't have any policy in place to set a timing or tackle those water breaks. And according to the administration, every hour is 400 gallons of water running to the ground. So when you look at that 45%, out of the 45%, I try to break it down to let the public understand this. $34,000 is for bleeder, which is the Windward traded cost for people during the winter for preventing freezing. And there's only $34,000. That's a lot, not a lot of money compared to 45%. And they also run the hydrant just to checking, but it still cannot go up to 45% of the water that wasted. To me, it's called wasted. So with that part of the the thing that we never try to improve it. And plus, another, I was concerned about the hydrant rental. And also based on the administration report, we have 455 hydrants in Thompson, Manitoba. When you do the math, $125 per rental times 455 hydrants is only $56,000. We are charging the ratepayer for $82,000. That part I don't understand. Why is it more than what we physically have for hydrant? This is the report from the administration. So I always had concern about the $82,000 rental there. Seems like it's part of the money. It's not a lot, but it's still that money for nothing to me. And those can be look into it and then make a better calculation. So with that, I believe there's more to it. We didn't even try to fight and try to make it better system to help the people. Ever since we have this meter, it's only cost more and more and more. And I want to touch on one more thing. Every year, we have people owing the water. It's more and more and more money, not less and less and less. So what does it tell you? If we could keep on going the rate higher and higher every year or every time, nobody can afford to live in Thompson anymore. That's the biggest concern I have. I also have a lot of people come up to me about the water rate. So due to the reason, I think we need to do better job to take care of the water system. I also understand we need to balance the budget, otherwise it's a no-no. So somehow I think the administration need to sharpen the pencil more, to do more, to make it better. With this rate, it's not acceptable. So I will not support this, and thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Councilor Colbert.
Well, first of all, I won't be supporting this again, but we're paying for wastewater. We got 48 million to replace water lines. I just heard that's one of the reasons why it's costing so much. In 2 years after we replace a bunch of water lines with less breaks, are we going to drop our water rate? You know, I've never seen the tax go down. We were in a meeting earlier where a person said the swimming pool would attract people, right? Okay, would attract people, but putting water rates and taxes up don't attract people, right? Stuff like that. Putting water rates up, you will not attract people in this town. You will not attract them by putting taxes up, and you're putting a lot of people taxes up because they're not paying the water bill. But you know, it's when does it end? When does it end?
Thank you. I think Anthony, you had a question or answer.
Yeah. So the question now, if the rates would ever go up or down, that would be determined each time that this is passed through a pub order. So the budget would be determined if the number of breaks were going down and the need for capital replacement went down. The capital budget would go down, and then consequently the rates would go down with it. So it's a matter of the rates are higher now to pay for the fix, so that that problem goes away later and hopefully reduce the cost in the future.
Thank you. Councilor Falvey.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak twice. All of us in the room, all in the council chambers, I realize I'm not in the room. We all are aware of what's gone on with both our wastewater treatment plant, as well as breaks and lines and systems that I would characterize as hanging on by a thread. Now, this ISEP grant does certainly provide us with second life with respect to these systems. But as I've said before, and not to be too repetitive, I'm not happy with the direction. And I don't know how you hold systems to account if you don't do it in this way. Where would you do it? And we've tried, it's been my opinion that we've tried to hold the administration and people working for the city to account. It's also my opinion that we've not been all that successful. So I'm left with the choice now of not wanting to support this out of lack of any other way to send a message. And it may not be the best thing to do to send a message this way, but I can't support this. I implore my other councillors to not support this either. I'm asking for better from my administration and from my city.
Thank you, Councilor McMurdo.
Yeah, thanks, Mayor Spook.
Councilor McMurdo, Anthony is going to respond to Jeff.
Yeah, so council provided direction to the administration to deal with a number of those things. So over the last 3 months, the administration, specifically myself, has been meeting with landlords every week or two, going through all their issues with the water system. The administration itself has been meeting, I believe it's bi-weekly, reviewing the bylaw, coming up with different options that are being used in other communities, looking at ways that there can be appeal systems. So a number of these things are being worked on, as well as reviewing what the issues are at the water plant and the wastewater plant. So those things are multi-year problems that we've inherited. It's going to take some time for us to put together, but we are making progress on it. That was the direction that council provided to us in January. The work is still ongoing, and we'll have something for council shortly to show them in terms of new bylaws and proposals for new policies.
Thank you. Councilor McMurdo, apologize.
Oh yeah, no problem. Thanks, Mayor Spook. I'll just say that as I've said before, it's difficult to levy a rate increase of this magnitude anytime, for sure. And the waste and inefficiency issues that some of the other councillors have mentioned are of concern. No doubt about that. I would just say that as an alternative, if we were to freeze the utility rates or offer a rebate and then phone the feds and province and say, we can't come up with our end of the $48 million project, that would be in the worst for Thompson, far worse, I think, over the long run. So while this is painful, and I wouldn't, as Councillor Fountain suggests, if I found myself in this chair again, support another rate increase of this size. I don't believe it's sustainable, or it's not sustainable, obviously, but it wouldn't be right to do it again. But if this is what's going to help us to get down our share of ISIP funded, I'll be supporting tonight. Thanks.
Thank you. Councillor Valentino.
Thank you, Mayor Smook. Councillor McMurdo said a lot of what I was going to say also. I'm going to be supporting this also tonight. I think we're at a one-time point in our city to have a $48 million influx of cash, of capital cash, to fix this water system, to reduce the water breaks, and to make it as an investment in our city to future and lessen the cost to the taxpayer, and the rates with the less water breaks should reduce the rates in the future. So we do need to do this to fund our share of the ISIP, to improve the water system and the water breaks, to reduce the amount of cost in the future for the taxpayer. So I look at it as an investment into the long term for our city. I do appreciate that administration has been working under the direction of council. I don't think necessarily the comments of administration having to do a better job was adequate, as they do, as Anthony said, working with the landlord group. We did as a council review our water bylaw and how the water breaks are handled as a council not too long ago. So, and also, do we need to work more efficiently? Absolutely. I think everybody always can, but I don't necessarily think, do we need more equipment or more people when we aren't supporting administration or their requests when those come forward. So I'm going to be supporting this tonight. And I do think that we need to start the process for the rate study already. And it should be an outside entity for the next round of rates. And we need to do that work now because of the PUB board being so many years behind, that municipalities don't get an adequate time frame with this rate. So I think we need to work diligently right away to get the next set of rates and to fight for how the decrease should start to occur with this ISIP money fixing our water. Thank you.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Longmire.
Madam Mayor. I don't know if everybody reviewed the study, but we have 75.4 kilometers of water line. A lot of it built in the 1950s. Yeah. So water lines that are 7 years old. I don't know if any of you dealt with water plants or water lines in your years. I have. The fact is that there's a pile of water lines in this city that are old ductile iron pipe. They're thin. They're in a corrosive environment, and they're thinned out. So we have lots of water breaks. You can see every time there's a water break along my street, there was one 2 doors down from me, then there was one next door, then there was one in front of my house, then there was one on the way down. So when you have all this pipe that's 70 years old and you don't do something major with it, other cities are dealing with the infrastructure deficit as we are. We have this, we aggressively went up this $48 million. We have time to deal with this now. This would be an increase for now, but then you replace the majority of where we have pipes that are already broken and will continue to break. So we try and fix that problem instead of band-aiding that continually. And I realize that there's problems, but if we get rid of some of these 70 breaks that we have every year, maybe we can reduce how much we're spending time fixing these breaks. We have new equipment located that will help our staff. Administration's working with landlords, working in policy manuals. We're doing this concurrently, and we plan that also with an asset management system that could help make this more efficient. We're not asking to do this on a whim here. We're trying to do this so that we reduce costs in the future. And if we replace some of those old ductile iron pipes with newer polyethylene pipes, we will reduce those costs. Costs aren't going to get cheaper by not doing anything. So I'm hoping that people realize that we're trying to make an effort to reduce those costs, make it more efficient, and I'll be supporting this. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Ellsworth.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Certainly a good debate. Even the dogs on the Zoom doesn't agree with this debate. Let me tell you, talk about the one dispersion now. Here's the concern. You brought it at first and second reading. We've seen 26, if my memory serves me right, it could be even more pages. People didn't have pace. One councillor mentioned the fact that we don't increase it, we wouldn't be able to get our share of the ISIP. Well, I'm going to get our share of the ISIP if we got 26, 28 pages with an average of 30 pages or 30 people on the one page. It's not paying now, and now you're going to increase the rates. All right, I don't know, maybe I'm not very good at finances, but that to me serves a good warning to a city that, hey, people can't afford it. You're going to shut down any car washes this month, start off, won't be starting off, because once it's there, we'll have to shut down. And if I don't know, if you've never seen brown lawns last year, but you're going to see them this year, no one can afford to water lawns, and that's been happening. So you talk about beautification. Yeah, it'll be beautiful, real attractive to this city. So we can say, oh, well, they'll pay and we'll put it under taxes. And well, we're going to probably own half the homes in Thompson. We keep going the way we're going. No one is arguing. Let's be very clear. We need to change the pipes. No one's arguing that. They're collapsing on us. The fact is, you want to have nobody in town left to pay for it. So never mind about decreasing rates. You want to decrease it for it. The rest of us that's going to plan on spending a lot of years there will either run dry and have to move or go on social assistance because we won't be able to afford it. No, I want to support it because again, people can't afford what we're doing. If we sat down and looked at it and said, how can we look at our income and expenses? What is it we can do? Every company does it, never mind cities. They sit down and they look through that. And I'm glad we're meeting with landowners and business and over it. I think that's important, and the city manager is right. We directed that to be done. That's not the issue. The issue is people can't afford it. They can't afford it. Some of us could probably pay double, but there's a lot of people in this city that don't know if they're going to put a meal on the table or pay the hydro bill today coming out of a pandemic. And so, again, Madam Mayor, with all due respect to my fellow councillors, I'm no different than Councillor Fountain. I would implore that we would not pass it, but in fact, we would start a task force or something and go back the way we're and review the way we're running the utility. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anthony, it's on your hand up.
Oh, just to note that most of the ones that are put on the list are in fact collected once they're switch taxes. That's been the experience is that there is no timely list, but at the end of the year, the majority of that is collected.
Okay. Councillor Wong?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Well, somehow, you know, sometime when I listen to the elected officials speaking the grant, but the public don't know, we do not get 48 million in total. We still have to fund 12 out of our pocket here. So just be clear. We still have to find $12 million to match the fund. So do we have the money? We don't. That's why we try to do this to get more money from the ratepayer. But I like number doesn't lie. Every year when the rate go up, guess what happened, Madam Mayor? The consumption go down. When it's go down, what happened to when you do the math? You need to charge more to keep up the money, the inflation. So we never end. We'll never end. So I don't know where you guys can see that, wow, this is a good thing. No, we have to look into that. Let me walk back for a little bit about the 45% rates. What have we done for that? Why are we allowed water running for 2 months? Those we can fix right away. We don't need to go and meet the landlord to find out what to do. All we need to just send the excavator and go and dig the hole, fix the water leak or break in 2 days, but not 2 months. That we can do immediately. Have we done that? No. So don't sit there and tell me that, yeah, we tried our best. We didn't try our best. I say we as a collective, as a council. I didn't try to throw anybody under the bus. I'm just saying the facts. So again, yes, we need to balance the boat, but have we done enough? How are we going to counter this in the future? So we're going to do another study. What's the study going to do? They're going to say, well, the consumption go down. We need to get more for the rate to keep up the inflation and the amount that we need to bring in. That's a math. One thing about math is like you cannot lie, number cannot lie.
Okay.
So I'm just saying.
Okay, this is sort of the second time. It's the same.
Okay, you want to come here up? I'm done. Anyway, thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Anthony?
Yeah, just to note that the question about the ICIP and the pub rates, that those rates or the application for ICIP was based on the rates that are in the pub study, if that makes sense. So it's not that it's asking for more, that's what the capital rate was already set up in the pub rates. That's how the application was put into ICIP.
Thank you. Rob?
My concern is this increase is to balance the books for this year on the cost that we're going to incur for water, right? We got 3 councillors there saying is for our share of the pub rate, our share of the rate for the ISIP grant. Is that true?
It covers our share of the ISIP grant, but we also inherited, or we also now have a wastewater plant. And now that we have to pay those costs, that's increased the cost of the utility. So it's a new plant. Before it was operated, when it wasn't built, the costs weren't that high. Now that we have a new plant, the costs have increased. So to make the balance, the budget balance, we have to increase our cost to account for the new costs of that wastewater plant.
Okay. Okay. When we start doing when we do our budget, we already did it. I think I'm not sure how much it got laid up for water and sewer this year. But now, is this money here going to cover our portion of that?
These public utility rates are supposed to cover the operations and the capital for the utility.
Not the repairs, or is that the
capital? Well, that's the capital.
Right.
So some of it is if it's operational repairs day to day, that's operating. But if it's our major projects like ICIP, that's capital.
And this money, this raise is going for both of that.
This covers both the operating and the capital for the utility, separate from the municipal budget.
So make it straight. The money that we're going to collect here, we're not going to get a raise in taxes for the ISEP grant for the water and sewer.
This is a raise in the utility.
Yeah,
so this is specifically to the water bills.
Right.
So this is a raise.
Well, why is people saying it should help pay for the ISEP grants? They're to repair the water lines and the maintenance that we got to do around.
Because the ISEP grant would be paid through the utility. So this is the budget for the utility. The utility is separate from the rest of the city's operating.
Well, if we got to cover that, you're going to need a lot more money than you're going to get.
This is year by year.
This is unreal. The way this is, and to balance a budget, there's a lot better. There is other ways to balance a budget than increase the cost. There is other ways, but I'm still against this. Thank you for letting me have the time to speak again, Alan.
Thank you. Councillor Valentino, Kathy, your hand had been up. You still want to speak?
No, thanks. I was just going to speak to, we were getting off topic, but it's fine. I'm still supporting it. My comments are the same. Thank you, Mayor Smook.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor, would you let me clarify a comment I made earlier, please? Just one sentence.
Okay.
Yeah, my concerns were when I had mentioned that the administration needs to do better. We're just strictly thinking in terms of the wastewater stream, not the water stream. I fully understand the challenges that our administration faces there, but we do have a brand new plant, and that was my concern. Thank you.
Just want to make a few comments. I know that we talked about our water breaks haven't gone down. We're actually obviously doing something right because our equipment is, our lines are a lot older. If we're saying it was the same water breaks 40 years ago as it is now, our lines are now 40 years older. So it's definitely means that we've definitely done some repair. When we got that equipment last year to pinpoint the breaks in that, it's a lot less invasive to our lawns and that in the neighborhood. So it'll be less money in the future for repairs and that as we're going. And definitely with the ISIP, we have the money, the 48 million for grants to fix this. That should definitely alleviate a lot of the problems down, especially certain streets that have been targeted with this grant money to start with. I think we'll notice quite a difference. But with that being said, we do have the other streets that will then get older, so we're just going to be playing catch up as we go. I definitely will be supporting this because the money has to come somewhere to pay for it, and if the utility is designed, we're already covering the ISIP money for this year out of the utility, so I definitely will. So with this being a third reading, it will be a recorded vote. So all those in favor, put up your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Lundmark, Mayor Smook, Councillor Valentino, Councillor McMurdo. That's and opposed. Councillor Colburn, Councillor Ellsworth, Councillor Fountain, Councillor Wong, Councillor Prue. I missed your vote. 4. Okay, it is carried. Thank you, everybody. All for adjournment. Deputy Mayor Lundmark, Councillor Prue, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you.
Good night.